Hey, good morning. Dr. Bob Flower for your February 20th Monday Master Pattern Report. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you guys are relaxing on Lincoln's birthday. Those of you who have, or President's Day, I'm sorry. Those of you who have the day off, enjoy. And since we're talking about Lincoln's birthday, let's start off with some socio-political announcements. All right. Um, let's talk about the downfall of a nation, the historical perspective here, because I think it's very important for what we're going through in our daily economy right now. And we did some research on this, and there seems to be five basic principles that continuously have been applied to the downfall of nations, small, big, great, and little, over the centuries. Let me read them to you. The first is that the nation is put into debt to the degree that it becomes obligated. Sound familiar? Second is selective enforcement. Now we've been talking about this since 2007 when we started the Master Pattern Report. How uh, the not only the economy but the principle of law is falling apart in the country, and more there's more greater lawlessness in the world as well as in our country, and we're definitely seeing where the Congress applies its own laws to one thing, the Senate applies its own laws, the judges, whether it be the local town judge or uh, your appellate court judges, are applying their own laws. People go out and vigilantism. I mean, this is definitely in place here. Number three is weaken the military and or security. Now, uh, late last week, there was a trial balloon sent up by the government regarding cutting our nuclear um, capabilities from like 5,200 warheads down to 300, which would be in league with China and slightly below where Russia is at. Why? Why? Why do we need to do that? Uh, the cost is minimal between the difference, the maintenance. It still comes under the military budget. I mean, this is ridiculous. Why do we have to pare ourselves down? It's this principle of equality, all right, um, of levelness that the present government is trying to employ on us Americans. This is nonsense. This is absolute bullcrap. This is a great deterrent to keep people, and we don't have to be on an equal level with anybody else when we're not on an equal level with anybody else. Um, the other is make the majority dependent. My heavens, we have 50% of the people in this country don't pay federal taxes. I would say that that's a dependency, as well as with all the other benefits that are handed out. Uh, which, hey, is fine as long as people don't take to mind that that's the only way an economy operates. That's the utopia. That's how we got in trouble in the real estate fiasco, thinking like that. But then again, there's more, and I'll give you that in a moment. And the other is, very interestingly, minimizing the values and virtues of a country. Now, the United States is very unique in this respect. We are one of the few countries in history where we come from a multitude of other nations. It truly is a melting pot. I mean, we don't all speak Irish here or Yiddish or Italian. or Romanian. We speak many different languages here. We have a major language, which is English, but we are a mixed culture here. Um, but we definitely have significant values that are inherent to each one of those cultures, and those are being taken away from us. I mean, right from our rights to do what we wish, for instance, in our own home, how we light our own home. I think I'm going to go back to candle power, folks. Up to what we put in our kids' lunch pail. I mean, this is getting ridiculous. And now with the way oil is going, I think the horse value is going to come back big time. Okay, and further, so there you have 5 points, and we're going to post these up on our website for to look at, and just for your own edification, go back as far as Egypt, and take a look at what how great nations failed, and look at how these things look for the hints that are occurring now. They don't have to be blatant, but they're there, and they become blatant once you understand what the overall plan is here. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit while we're talking about socio-political. Let's talk a little bit about Obama and one of his favorite people, Abraham Lincoln. Okay, and let's look at the analogies of what's going on now as compared to then. All right. First off, Lincoln became known throughout history as the president who freed the slaves, and that's what Obama thinks he's doing. He thinks he's freeing us from economic oppression, right, by those nasty rich people, who, by the way, build buildings, build cars, give us jobs, put money into the economy and things like that. Nasty, huh? Okay. The other thing is that they're both ruling over a divided nation. Only in this case, it's one that he's creating: the haves against the have-nots, the rich against the poor. I mean, look where we're going here, folks. I mean, this is are there truths to what the government is saying, what the Democrats and the Republicans are saying? Yeah, there are some truths, but they're not the major truths, and they're not the only one. Are there problems in the economy? Yeah, sure there are. Are there problems in governance? Yeah. Is there problems in society? Are there imbalances? Yes, but it's still the greatest operational system that the world has ever seen. You got to work on it and make it a little better. People have to make it go, not the government. That's why we're failing, because we're beginning to become more and more dependent upon the government. And more we're saying, well, this don't work out, that won't work out, We're giving in. And Lord, help you and those that are giving in. I'm not. And I won't. And I have plans to survive. Here's another one that I think we haven't seen yet. Lincoln suspended habeas corpus. Now, for those of you who don't know, what that means is that he did away with the Constitution. He suspended the Constitution, and there was no free rights. Stick around. Okay, and the one I like the best is Lincoln's quote. Remember Lincoln's quote about you can fool some of the people all of the time, and all of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the time. Okay, all right. Well, Obama believes in that. He believes that he can fool all of the people some of the time, and the some of the time seems to be the 6 months before the elections. He did it the last time, he's doing it again now. Are you one of those fools? I mean, if you don't think you're a fool call me. Send me an email. Let's have an intellectual discussion about this as to where we are. And to me, the greatest fault and sin of this government and this presidency is the divisiveness of the society, how he has divided the society in order to win. Very clever, but I want to warn you, and listen to what I'm telling you very carefully. This is what brought Hitler to power. All right? This is exactly what brought Hitler to power. And we're headed down the wrong path here, folks. Right? Because for the sake of gaining power, we're losing power. And we're about to embark on a period in American history that could be devastating, or it could be very invigorating, reinvigorating, right? So please, please. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the economy and a couple of things that I want to bring to mind here is why this market has been moving up so well, and people are saying, well, you know, things are looking better, and the unemployment is garbage. Garbage. The unemployment numbers don't work. I'm telling you, we've looked at it. We looked at some economic numbers and economists' interpretations of what's going on. It just the number of unemployed, the number that are not working, just don't fit that 8.3% demographic. I'm sorry, and it seems to me that now they're changing not only the nature of unemployment, the definition. I mean, they changed it and they didn't tell anybody, but now not only changing that, but they're changing the dimensions and measurements for the size of the workforce. How many people in the United States are included in the workforce, and which are not included in the workforce? That's the true measure, but we're not doing that. So once again, we have sleight of hand, and all of the people are involved some of the time being fooled. Are you? All right. Now, part of what's going on here is that the bears are getting burnt. Right? People have been anticipating that this was going to be a bad year, and I still say it will be, but it may not be with the stock market because of this dichotomy that's going on between the bulls and the bears, and people saying that, well, we should be short here because the market's going down. Well, yeah, the market's going to go down. It's going to go down in another couple of weeks, about another 2 weeks. But that doesn't mean that it's going to stay down. That doesn't mean that it's not going to bounce back up. I mean, even if it goes down to 9,000, that doesn't mean that by the end of the year it's not going to be up to 12 or 13,000, right? And that doesn't mean that we're going to be doing any better. That doesn't mean that regular people like yourself and myself and my family and my friends are going to be doing any better this year than they had. In fact, they're probably going to be doing a lot worse. So once again, we have Main Street versus Wall Street. Okay, and big government government and big business are what's ruling the day, and that's been going on for a while. That's a symbol of a fascist state. I don't want to say a Nazi state because we're not at that point yet, but it's certainly fascist. And the ability to control its people while it's slipping from the government is still there, and they're trying more and more to bring about rules and regulations. I mean, look at the thousands and thousands. I mean, I think it was like 37,000 regulations that Congress and the president are trying to put forward. For what? For what? I mean, we're doing pretty good compared to other people. Who? Compared to Greece and even England. Look at England. I mean, England is a great nation, but they're suffering, man. They're getting hit big time over there, and their businesses are not doing well at all. And don't forget, a lot of their businesses are dependent on world trade, world economies, world businesses. But they're not doing well. I mean, the only one that's doing pretty well. The few that are doing pretty well are who? Uh, some of the Netherlands, Germany, uh, Switzerland. I mean, but there are a few. They're not a lot. Australia's doing good. Canada seems to be doing much better. Uh, but in comparison, uh, we're we need to get our crap together and pull ourselves out from where the hell we're at. But we can't do that the way we're thinking, and that's the point of everything I'm trying to say this morning. Our thinking is skewed. It's terrible. It's terrible. People are giving in. People are saying, "Hey, what's the sense? Yeah, let's take the $2,000 they're going to give us here. Let's do disability. Our unemployment's running out, so let's try disability." A friend of mine took a picture uh, of a disability office that there was in South Carolina, North Carolina, and there must have been about 40 people in the room. And the point that he made was, how many people here are over 45, do you think? And he said there were none. And he said they all seemed to be pretty ambulatory to him. They walked in and walked out, but they're all there filing for disability because their unemployment has run out, or they didn't qualify, or what have you. So our thinking is wrong, folks. It's just not. I'm not happy this morning. This is not a happy day for me. No, really. I'm seeing things that I don't like, and that people, and I'm seeing it with people. We keep blaming government once again, the Republicans, the Democrats, the conservatives, the liberals, and whatnot. And yeah, that's true. But that's not the problem. The problem is in what we accept as reality. And the reality that we're accepting is something that is not germane to the principles of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and the Founding Fathers, and the way, certainly the way I grew up, and I think a lot of you people, and for you younger people, boy oh boy, Ron Paul is a breath of fresh air, and I wish he could gain some power, and I think he will. I think he'll have something to say at the convention this year. But his chances of winning are, about as good as finding life on Pluto. So, but the way he's thinking is right. Except I don't agree with his international pictures, but concepts. But hey, it's all right, folks. I'm just trying to make people understand, if you're in business or you have your own private practice, whatever it is, I don't care whether you're a massage therapist, or you're a security agent or what have you. Yeah, man, you got it. It's not easy. These are tough times, for Christ's sake, and you gotta suck it up, and you got to do what you have to do to stay in control of your own life. Whatever that is. I brought up that thing last week about, some sort of pledge for people to vote people out after one term. And some of you respond, say, that's not going to work. Well, you know what? It may not work, but if you get enough people to think that way and to act that way, the communists had a very simple and very effective philosophy. It only takes a few well-coordinated, planned here and there to rule an entire mob. They didn't need not even 10% of the masses to rule. They needed 4, 5, 6%, but well-placed and well-educated and well-informed. And that's what I'm saying with this, not to be a communist, but with this concept of voting them out after one term. Nothing will scare a politician more. I'm telling you, I put term limits into place in the third largest city in this state, and I kept them in there twice. There were 2 attacks against them, and I was the chairman both times. So I know what burns these guys and what they respond to. And if you tell them, look, you're going in, and if you don't vote for this particular amendment, you're in trouble because you're going out. And you're right, a lot of people won't vote for that. They'll say, oh, well, that doesn't apply to my congressman, that doesn't apply to my senator or my governor. The hell it doesn't. The hell it doesn't. It's the principle. It's the principle. It's the principle of control. Damn it. You think that all these billionaires that are behind the scenes pushing the buttons for President Obama and President Bush and Vladimir Putin and Marchi in Italy and Brown over in England? You think that those people behind the scenes that are pushing their buttons, do you think that they're in it for the money? Are you kidding? $1 billion to them is chump change. They don't need the money. They want the power. That's what they want. Sure, the money gives them more power. That's true. But it's the power that's driving them. And you're giving it up. We're just walking away from it. You're going to fight these guys and everything else. Well, I did. And I have friends of mine that did. And we won. We won, for instance, like the term limits. They told us, in this city, you will never get it. Oh, really? Really? Well, we won by 65%. And the second time we won by 65%. And the third time, they gave up because they saw how well organized we were and that we weren't going to take any of their crap. And they walked away from the challenge to the term limits. Don't let conventional wisdom stop you from trying things. If you feel that there's any possibility, do it. Go after it. And the same thing goes with business, right? Think clear. If you're the type of person that lives day to day, off of their paycheck, or even has to borrow, change your thinking. Change it. Change it for the better. Be stronger. Be more aggressive about it. Be more daring. Try things. Don't be afraid to fail, especially if you're younger. You got a shot at coming back. Older people like me don't. But we still can do the same thing in a different way. So there's ways of achieving these things, right? All right. Let's talk a little bit, before we get into our market predictions, let's talk a little bit about what we can do, other things that we could stand for that might make a difference. The arguments about retirement and Social Security. Okay, here's the thing. When Social Security came into effect, the average life expectancy was like 65, under 65, 63 to 65 years of age. So you could retire at 63, 65 and collect Social Security. And the plan was, or the concept was, that, well, this person's only, on average, are going to live, 1 to 2 to maybe 3 years. Right? Now, at age 65, you have a life expectancy of another 20 to 30 years, and it's growing. It's growing. Kids today are going to live to over 100, maybe 110. So that means you'll be able to retire at age, the way it is now, at 62 and live half your life. Well, that's great, but who's going to pay for it? China? Me? I'll be gone. So don't look to me. All right? And your folks are going to be gone. All right? So here's what I say. Raise the damn retirement age up, for God's sake. What? Anybody under 48 years of age, right, cannot retire before the age of 68, right? That gives them 20 years. If their crap is not together by the time they're 48, they better get it going. But that gives them 20 years to work on retirement, which is about a retirement age, 20 years. Okay, so age 68, you start, and you can receive say 70% of your benefits. You retired at age 70, and you could be up to 90%. You know, age 72 or something like that. I mean, this is what we need to do. Okay. Um, and I don't think that's a big deal. And I think a lot of hey, listen, I think a lot of young people today in their 30s and 40s don't think that there's going to be Social Security available for them at all. So at least this is something very reasonable and very fair, very fair. Um, and those people at 68 will be able to collect more than I or anybody my age did at 62 or 65. Okay, right. So a little bit more. Immigration, big issue, big problem. Right? How what are you going to do with these people? And there's no two ways about it. One of the problems is that they're in the system and they're costing us money. With healthcare and things like this and education. Um, uh, and that's shown up in areas where the immigration has been disavowed and people are leaving areas. And all of a sudden, the costs of municipal operation have dropped considerably. Now, you're not going to send these people back. You're not going to send 10 or 12 million people back to Mexico. Even if you had a way of doing it, Mexico would start a border war with us. Uh, no, what I propose is an immigration tax. Right? These people want to be here. That's fine with me. Right? Register. You pay your tax, and that 12 million people paying $1,000 a year or $2,000 a year. That's quick. That's 100. What is that? 12 billion dollars a year? No, $120 billion a year income. $240 billion a year uh, additional revenue. Why not? Why not? It's a cheap price. That's why they're here. To do better, make more money, and make more money, you pay more money. Right? A lot of them aren't even paying taxes. So I think that instead of throwing them out, and there are simple ways of doing this, you impose an immigration tax. And I think that would help municipalities, would help states, and certainly would help the federal government, and would help them to be more respected, and not to live in fear every day that the ICE agent's going to come knocking on the door. All right. So quickly, market predictions. Um, Today, which is an S&P cycle, but of course the market is closed today, so we're looking at tomorrow. Conceivably 62% down, and the 23rd this week, the S&P, we're looking at a little bit more, maybe a 64% for a down move. We're expecting to see the market kind of shoot up a little bit here, but start its downturn going into the first week in March. And let me tell you the reason why. I see two big cycles coming up with oil. One on the 29th of February, and the other on the 2nd of March. Keep an eye on this, and I think you're going to see that, as you have already seen this week, that with the oil prices escalating as they are, and the problems escalating in Iran, and now Saudi Arabia, our buddies, our friends, we're going to help you. They're going to go down. They cut their oil production, so hello, this is going to get interesting. So we may well see the market take a tank here, which we had been anticipating around the 4th of March. But oil, the 29th, and then the 2nd, we'll have some other predictions. Nothing for silver this week. It's still in that same gap. But we'll have some more predictions for the market, which we think is going to get a little bit more exciting here, a little more active. A quick word about a stock. I want you to check this out because I'm doing work for these people. Wendy's, $5 a share. Right? Look at the other food companies. Look what happened to them. They're going on a big expansion program. They're going to change their whole motif of operation. I'm doing a lot of consulting work with these people. I'm not telling you to buy the stock. I'm telling you to look at it. If you like it, buy it. It may well be worth it. You may conceivably see this thing. Who knows? McDonald's went from what, $8 to $100 in 2 years, 3 years. Hey, anything is possible. Okay. Um, I'm not really sad. I just feel bad that people don't see things clearly, and I love to help, and I know I can help. So go to our website, send us emails, let us know what kind of issues you got, and we'll do what we can to help you out. Okay. You have a great week. Enjoy your President's Day, and stay away from the cherry tree.